Fine, thank you.
See if I can't get my volume up.
Out your way. It's been raining here all day long.
Well, we had some sprinkles when I came into the office this morning, but I haven't been outside since. So
Gotcha,
it may be
gotcha.
wet outside as well here.
It's been raining really, really hard. So I'm hoping power stays and sound stays and all of that. If not, we'll figure it out. But I'm
Yes,
hoping
ma'am.
it sticks through. Well, my name's Rhonda. I'm the Director of Operations for Rice Online.
Right.
I appreciate you taking some time in your afternoon to speak with me. Um, I'm really hoping for our 20 so minutes that we have together to learn a little bit about you, to learn a little bit about what motivates you toward instructional design and what brought you to Rice. So if you want to, wherever you want to start with that, just take it where you want to.
Well, thank you. It's very nice to meet you. Sorry for my notices making a noise. Please forgive me for that. I am Robert Wolf. I'm currently working on my chapter 4 of my dissertation here at A&M Commerce, and I am looking forward to completing that. It's been a long journey, but I think it'll be worth it when I finish. Also, I guess starting out in my life in college, I started at East Texas State back in 1980, graduated from Mesquite High School, and came to Commerce on a football scholarship. Played football, got married shortly at the end of my tenure here, and then about 28 years later, I came back to finish up what I started. And so that's where I sit currently. So I was a dad, I was a coach, I was a mentor to not only my family, my daughter, and I also used to coach her teams that she was in when she was in elementary and middle school and high school. I got to know a lot of folks just by doing that, administration, principals, other coaches that I would get to help me. So I understand a lot about the mentorship level. I used to work on a freight dock. I worked at Consolidated Freightways, so I used to work in the area of stacking freight, and I used to mentor a lot of the guys that I worked with on just basic things that we had on the dock, such as there's certain areas you wanted to have this freight to disperse to, and so a lot of them needed a little exhortation, you might say, in order to do things right. You want, because the main thing is keeping your clients happy. So they want their freight, they want their materials to be there. That looks nice, it looks new, it's not damaged. It's the same thing with students, same thing with faculty. They want someone that has confidence that can help them achieve success in their life, and that's how I've known about Rice University just about all my life. Of course, I'm a big proponent of football, and I've even watched Rice football. And now I know there's a lot of other sports involved, but my forte is that sport. But if there's a chance to watch volleyball or softball, or I love just about all sports. In regards to instructional design, when I was working on the end of my undergrad degree, I have gone to the College of Education and was talking to someone in COEHS, one of their admin secretaries, to try to find out. I was interested in online delivery back in, I guess it would be 2011. And of course, I didn't know a whole lot about it then because I hadn't had anything but a hybrid class. We had a little bit of the blended learning, and there where mainly things were used online with quizzes or announcements, and that's basically what we used that in the early stages of online usage. But I felt like there was going to be more involved, and so I talked to an ed professor, and that just wasn't where I was thinking about when I talked to them. Sure, being a principal or assistant principal or superintendent sounded nice, but I wanted something more along the lines to get my feet wet in online delivery, course design, development, all those things that was just something that I had an interest in. Uh, I have, in fact, I know one of my good church friends, his daughter and granddaughter go to Rice. She's working on her doctorate there as well. So I not only know about Rice, I hear about it a lot from folks that I know. I've developed a love and a passion for that. To me, and I even love because Rice, I noticed in your mission statement or your vision statement that Rice has a good acronym involved with its name: responsibility, integrity, community, and excellence. And that's something that's easy to remember. It's something that being a part of Rice University, that just makes you proud to know that's what you stand for and strive for every day. And I want to be a part of that team. So that's a little bit about me.
That's great. Thank you for sharing all of that. I came from the high school classroom before I was at Rice. So I taught high school for 8 years.
Oh, wow.
And always had a soft spot for the athletes and the coaches that got them to where they were. So I appreciate the coaching history. I've sat through many a football game, baseball, basketball, you name it, I've been there.
Well, I like your style. Well, something I didn't mention, I have two other brothers and a sister, and my fiance, she's an English teacher. She works for Mesquite ISD. She's been doing that for 36 years. My brother and my sister have retired from MISD. All three of them were music teachers. My youngest brother is a music teacher, and he is currently teaching at an academy. I'm sorry, a charter school in Dallas. And so we've had, such just about everyone in my family have a degree except my mother and dad. Even my grandmother had an English degree from where I go to school currently. So it's just, I have a very unique family. I'm very proud to be a part of this family. My dad, all his life, wanted his kids to get their education because he had to work and break his back every day to make a living. And he didn't want that for us. He wanted us to break our back by using our head. And that's something that I really appreciate and still try every day to make my dad proud, even though he left me 18 years ago and passed on. And so those are things that, if I start going chasing rabbits and just talking too much, please let me know. I have so much to say, and I need to learn to listen and stay focused on what you ask me. So I will do that.
No problem. I appreciate all of the information. So the role that you're applying for is instructional design plus project management. So it's very self-driven. You would be leading the course team, which is usually comprised of the course designer and a video producer, and then whatever subject matter expert we bring into the mix, which is usually a faculty member from somebody who's volunteered or has been signed up to teach online.
Right.
For the most part, volunteered, which is nice. It's nice to be able to say that. They don't come against their will too often.
That is nice. Because if you have been around very many forced faculty in the online delivery, you are not usually around a bunch of happy folks.
Right. We're definitely living in the COVID times of we are about half online, fully online this semester. The other half is delivered, dual delivery. It's just kind of a combination of face-to-face and online. So we do have that dynamic happening, just like all the other schools across the country, I think, and around the world at this point.
Yes, ma'am.
But for the most part, our usual day-to-day work is usually with volunteers. So that's a little bit easier in terms of buy-in, I think, is probably the best way to say that. So do you have in your past experience with the project management side of things, taking something from start to finish, pushing deadlines, making sure that we're hitting deadlines, being able to report out to the people involved, things like that, project management?
Yes, ma'am. I think project management is one of those key areas that any good instructor needs to have, because it's not just someone who knows how to handle project-based material or problem-based material. It's about knowing where you need to go. In other words, finding out, well, what is the situation? Where is it? What is the whole process behind what I need to do? What is my end result need to be? And being able to take that and work with the teams or the people, one or two, or if you have a bunch, working with subject matter experts, working with IT, working with whoever's needing or going to be involved. They need to be handled in a respectful manner. They also need to be handled with courtesy and just respect, because they know things that you may not know, and that's what you never assume what someone knows or what they don't know. You just treat them like human beings that want to be successful along with you, because that's why we're all involved together. And so you need to learn. And there's a whole other structure behind setting up a course, but project management is just getting the right people at the right time to do the right things, because communication and final delivery is the most important thing.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
I agree. Getting to that deadline students show up on the first day of class whether you're ready or not. So
They really do.
We've
But
got to be ready.
it's just all that in between. You just never know what's going to happen, so you have to be ready for that.
Absolutely. That's what drives. I mean, obviously, we have very, very inflexible deadlines. So
Yes,
being
ma'am.
able to meet them is really, really important to the team. So I think just from listening to your experience and hearing you talk, I think maybe one of the differences between where you've been in your career and where this is headed is you'll be designing content for someone else.
Yes, ma'am.
When you come here. So we, and like I said, I came from the classroom, I taught physics. So I think I know what's best a lot of times, and I can say what I think is best, but ultimately it's not my course, right? So I have to, there's this give and take space of recommending and advising versus not being the ultimate decision maker.
Right.
So do you have experience in that arena of I guess I don't want to say we work for them, but we definitely don't have the full decision making power. So it's a collaboration, but there's not all of the decisions will be in your hands. So how does that how does that part feel in terms of kind of giving up some of that control?
Well, that control is really not something that I have to have. I can relinquish that control without hurting my ego. That is not an issue. It's my main thing is knowing what my parameters are and what I'm responsible for, what needs to be the end result, and when does this need to be finished. I love to get through a deadline prior to the deadline's due date. Just like I try to teach my students currently, just like you said, all of my courses have been designed for me and my students that I currently work with for the past 6 years teaching my course, and courses that are different sections of that course. But I have had the opportunity to work with faculty, and in fact here at our school we have just, like in the past 2 years, recently changed from e-college to Desire to Learn. I do know, I believe y'all are with Canvas. I went through the process with the school's team to decide what learning LMS we wanted to have for our school. We had Blackboard, Canvas, and Brightspace come to our school to try to sell us their LMS, CMS opportunity. And I voted for Canvas, but the majority wanted Brightspace, D2L, and that's okay. But they gave us that opportunity. I got to sit in and see what all the cool different functions were, and I got to work with Canvas and work with Blackboard and work with D2L, of course, and I really enjoyed that. And I've created courses on Blackboard, on eCollege, on Desire to Learn, but I created test courses with Canvas and Blackboard when they were here. So I haven't done a lot with students or for other faculty creating courses for someone else. So I believe with the skill set that I have, I've been preparing just for that moment all my career here at A&M Commerce. And so I like things when I help faculty design a course. I think it's important to, first of all, find out what are your course objectives that you want for the course. What do you want the students to learn and take home with them at the end of the course? I like to, along those lines, provide tutorials and tips that would help the faculties, whatever class we're working on, help them get if I'm being a part of teaching that faculty how to do it. And this is on me just being used to working with faculty. And what I would do, and it's going to be a little different with me creating courses for someone else and not working with that faculty at the moment. It may be for a faculty member that I would work with eventually at some point to to get their interaction. But if it's just creating courses for a subject, then there may be a whole different setup in how I would do that process. But it's still you're still going to be working with people and dealing with people, so that it's good to have a good process to do this. And so also it's good to have a second pair of eyes to identify issues on these courses, because you need to make sure you go through, cover all the different things you want in there, from different media tools, different discussion boards. You need to work with emails, and you'll have announcements. I mean, all the different parts to an online course, and someone needs to be watching that and seeing if it's working. And I can go in deeper to. I like Kirkpatrick's. He's got 4 levels of how he assesses what's a good course and a bad course, and I could get into that if you want to, but it's not essential at this time. But it's good to know how to get from A to Z,
Right.
and how to treat people you're working with, and that's basically what I'm trying to get across to you, because you want academic integrity, you want accessibility, because you don't know what students are going to be in the class. You don't know their learning situation, if they have a disability or if they're, if not. And so you want to be able to reach everyone, do it effectively, and do it legally. Because I don't think Rice wants any lawsuits, just like I don't.
Right. No, we definitely pay very close attention to accessibility and copyright and all of those things that you have to do with online content.
Exactly.
Yeah, we have good processes in place. That's one thing. We are a relatively young team, but we've gotten at least to the point now where we have pretty standardized processes for course builds.
Very good.
So, yeah. I have a meeting following this one, so I'm having to watch time closely. We're about down to 3 or 4 minutes left. Do you have questions for me?
Basically, first of all, have I answered what you wanted to hear from me? Well, is there anything that I've missed that you wanted to hear?
No, I think that you've covered quite a bit, and it's been very helpful.
Okay, I guess the last question would be, well, I think you've basically covered it, but a typical day in this position is what you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, so our course designers get assigned to projects, and one of the things that I think makes Rice a little bit different in the way we do online courses is that project is yours start to finish. So faculty will come to you prior to COVID with absolutely no understanding of online ed, but now they might have a little more than they did a year ago.
Yes, ma'am.
And our job has been to be the experts in pedagogy for the online space. So the course designer they meet with faculty. We have a kickoff meeting. You would be assigned to the project faculty. You meet with them for design sessions.
Yes, ma'am.
And we have like an early design phase where you talk those big picture. What are your objectives? What do students walk away with? Who's your audience? All of those type of questions. And then you do get down to designing on the minute level where you talk them through what a module would look like in their course. Do you have discussion forum prompts? Do you start with a video? Where are your objectives going? What comes after your objectives? So you walk them through and build out what a module would look like. We teach them best practices like chunking content and making sure videos are short and easily digestible, giving plenty of formative assessment, things of that nature. And so on a day-to-day, you're probably in a meeting with one of your course teams, which is the faculty and the video producer. Our video producers are all they're experienced at this point. I think our our most recent hire was over a year ago. So they've got at least a year, but most of them have at least 5 years behind them in the online space specifically. So they come in with really great ideas on how to make faculty shine on video. And they will help with the lecture part and any of the video content. So they format slides and things like that for our faculty. And you take them through a process. Like I said, we have a process. You get the modules laid out, we get them into production, they start building content. Usually we have TAs that will build directly into Canvas, or we do offer courses on Coursera and edX as well. So if it's a MOOC course, then it follows a certain process. If it's a behind the scenes, fully behind Canvas privacy, we can be a little less stringent on copyright and things of that nature. So if it's for credit Rice undergrad course, it's a little different process.
Okay.
But that's pretty much how it works. And then you're there to help them set up the course and make sure it looks good. We put it through a beta test. We get it ready for launch. We get them ready, and we're there the day they push go on their course and have to support during the first run of the course. So if they have questions, if things come up, we have IT to help with like Canvas questions, but for the most part, because you've developed so much rapport with your faculty, they come to you first. So sometimes we have to teach them how to use IT's help desk, but it really is a very hands-on process, and that's the work for course designers for the most part. Rice Online is growing a lot right now in terms of the products we offer. So I also asked the course design team to think about how we change what we do to meet these new product demands. We're still in the middle of building our first fully online master's degree program in-house. So we're still learning how all of those parts fit together and what we need to do better next round, because the next round's coming sooner rather than later.
That's true.
There's some new products from Coursera that are headed our way. They have a thing called a master track now, which is a set of courses that could act as credit-bearing courses for a master's program at Rice. So kind of a stackable content idea where they could go take this first set for cheap and get a little bit of a tuition discount, because everyone knows we're not cheap around here, and things like that. So there's a lot of new coming that I asked them to help me adjust to and make sure we're ready for when the time comes. Yes, but for the most part, you're in course design projects with faculty.
Well, that sounds exciting, and it would be just right up my alley. I would love that. I would love to be a part of the team. It's been an honor to have your time to listen to you and take the time for you to listen to me. So
well, thank you.
I know you're in on a schedule, so please, if there's anything you need after you're through with your meetings and you need something from me, please don't hesitate.
I appreciate that. And if you have more questions, I was copied on the emails from Lisa, so my email address is there. Please don't hesitate to ask.
Well, thank you, and thank Lisa for me for taking time to get this done.
I appreciate it. Have a great afternoon.
All right, you too. Stay dry. Hey, talk to you later. Bye-bye. Damn it. Hey.